But influencers, bro, like influencers, they're fucking
everybody
cancer.
in the gym has an issue with influencers.
But no, they're just cancer of society.
Alright, so Sean Strickland just beat up another influencer while also declaring his hatred for all influencers, and it's times like these where I can't help but roll my eyes at how hypocritical and clueless this guy can be sometimes. Because in spite of Strickland's constant rants about how influencers are the scum of the earth, he constantly fails to realize that he himself is also an influencer. Originally, this video was going to be exclusively focused on how he's become a full-blown online personality, but then I got to thinking and made the connection that this guy has a very long track record of being a hypocrite in many other aspects of his life. From being the first to dish out trash talk, but also being prone to completely melt down whenever someone says something back to him that hurts his feelings. And of course, his constant preaching about how he's going to go to war and fight to the death whenever he steps into the octagon, only to hide behind his jab for 25 minutes. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about all this and more throughout this video. If you have ever heard Strickland talk about online celebrities, then you would know that he's made it very clear that he despises influencers. Seriously, this guy never misses an opportunity to rail against internet fame and clout chasing. He is constantly ridiculing them for chasing attention and for being a cancer to society.
I do train, I do some boxing.
Are you an influencer?
Sorry, I don't like that term.
What are you?
I'm a guy, man. What are you?
A fucking MMA fighter. Is he an influencer?
Can you give some words of wisdom? I liked your podcast with the Nelk Boys. To see him get pressed like that for the first time was funny.
Majority of influencers are cunts.
Yeah.
Work hard, be a decent man. Stay off fucking Instagram, stay off TikTok, you have a better life.
But I think it's pretty ironic that Sean is preaching for people to stay off Instagram when this guy loves posting on his own social media accounts. His Instagram and Twitter are filled with his signature hot takes, collaboration with his influencer friends, and just really anything to keep himself at the forefront of the internet's attention. And the weird thing is, I would say that Sean knows exactly what he's doing and is just pretending to not be an influencer, but I'm not sure that's the case based on what he says here.
And I was like, I'm not doing a podcast with Sneeko. I hate influencers. You know that. Here's the thing about influencers, you guys. They suck. So, Jake Paul. One of the Pauls, the guy that boxes, the guy that beat up all the retired MMA fighters. His audience are children. My audience are usually 18 to grown men. So when we're talking about influencers, what we are talking about is we are talking about men who sell themselves to children. My target audience is men, 18 to men. Their target audience is junior high to high school. It's just fucking different, man. I don't want to market to kids. I don't want kids, I don't want, 7th graders to be like, oh, Sean Strickland. I don't want that audience. That's how I feel about influencers.
First of all, if the guy who's recording himself talking to a camera wearing nothing but a bathrobe and with a dirt bike conveniently placed in his kitchen isn't an influencer, then I don't know what is. And maybe this would be a good time for me to ask, what even is the definition of an influencer in the year 2025? Well, according to Google, an influencer is a person with the ability to influence potential buyers of a product or service by promoting or recommending the items on social media, and But going back to Sean, if this guy really thinks that what separates him from being an influencer is simply that he doesn't market himself to kids, then I gotta say that's one of the most thinly veiled defenses that I've ever heard. Like the idea that Jake Paul, for example, would all of a sudden stop being an influencer if he one day decided to start making content more focused towards an adult audience is absurd. Moreover, when I look at Strickland's social media, I feel like most of what he posts is pretty inclusive to a younger audience. There are a lot of kids interested in MMA, but there are also kids who take interest in riding dirt bikes, shooting firearms, and riding dirt bikes while shooting firearms. I'm not saying that Sean's specifically targeting a younger audience, but it's definitely inclusive to a younger audience. So by Sean's own definition of what separates him from other influencers, I feel like his justification doesn't hold up even under the slightest bit of scrutiny. Speaking of which, if this guy hates influencers so much, then why does he frequently make videos with Nina Drama, who is by far without a doubt the most outright case of clout chasing influencer in the world of MMA? Moreover, Nina Drama's target audience definitely includes males below the age of 18. I'm just saying. Like, how is this guy going to say that online celebrities are the scum of the earth one day, then the very next day film content with Nina? Not only that, these two are very close friends, so either Sean doesn't really feel as strongly towards influencers as he says he does, or he somehow, someway doesn't view Nina as one of them, and frankly, I'm not sure which one is more hypocritical. And before I go any further, this video of Sean here, the entire video is him recapping some of the recent events in his life that were taking place at the time. Things like him meeting Donald Trump, sparring Sneeko, beefing with Machine Gun Kelly, and getting called out by Jake Paul. This entire video is just him talking about himself in front of a camera. How does it not get any more influencer than this? Oh, and speaking of talking in front of a camera, is there a fighter in the active roster that's posted more selfie-style videos of them just rambling to their phone than Sean Strickland? This guy is actually the pound-for-pound champ when it comes to whipping out his phone so he can make content for the sake of content. Don't get me wrong, I have always been a supporter of fighters who want to stay connected with their fans and keep them updated with what's going on in their lives. But let's be real here, Sean does not have to do these selfie vlogs as often as he does. No one is making him do these. He does them because he wants to and because he probably likes the dopamine rush from all the social media engagements he gets from them.
The only reason why I'm making this video is because Eric had to go do a fucking podcast and become an influencer, so now I gotta like, alright, kinda explain myself.
Yeah, Sean, it's definitely not hypocritical of you to make fun of your coach for doing a podcast with Ariel Helwani when you yourself have done like 5 major podcasts in the last year. Eric Nixick didn't even do a podcast. He was just giving his thoughts about Sean's terrible performance at UFC 312. But Strickland, on the other hand, has been a guest on the JRE, the Flex Lewis podcast, and he's done the Theo Vaughn podcast. Not only that, he was a guest on Eric Nixick's podcast, and Sean even has a podcast of his own that he does with Chris Curtis. I'd actually have a little bit more sympathy for Sean in this situation had he not tried to talk down on Nixick doing a podcast when he himself seems more than happy to appear as a guest on any podcast that reaches out to him. Dude, Sean even went on the Full Send podcast with the Nelk Boys. I can understand why Sean would want to do the JRE or Theo Vaughn podcast, but the Nelk Boys are bona fide influencers, and they seem like the exact type of influencers that we hear Sean constantly calling scum of the earth. Like, why is he acting like appearing on a podcast is beneath him, yet he somehow repeatedly finds himself as a featured guest on them? It doesn't make any sense. And if being a phony outside of fighting wasn't enough, then I think it's worth mentioning that this guy is a walking contradiction when it comes to his UFC career as well. First and foremost, for a guy who is always screaming into the microphone that he's going to go to war and that he's willing to die in the octagon, he almost always fights behind his jab the entire time that he's in the ring. He's pulled this same song and dance leading into his last like 5 fights, and each time he stepped into the octagon, it looked like he was doing one of his sparring rounds. Actually, that's not true, because whenever we do see videos of Sean sparring, he actually fights with way higher of an intensity than he does when he's fighting for a UFC title. Just watch any of the instances where he sparred with influencers like Sneeko or that Navy SEAL guy, and it genuinely looks like Sean wants to murder them. But in both title fights that he's had against DDP, Sean's corner basically had to beg this guy to actually throw some offense. Honestly, if Sean fought Dricus the same way he fought Sneeko, then he probably might still be champion, but I guess the only times where Sean actually wants to go to war is when he's fighting an untrained guy with no money on the line. Speaking of DDP, the one time where Sean gets paired up with a guy who's actually capable of trash talking back to him, because usually Sean fights guys that don't speak English or they just simply suck at trash talking, DDP basically makes him cry right on stage.
Bro, why are you so angry? Bro, you think your dad beat the shit out of you? Your dad doesn't have shit on me. I'm gonna show you what it's like to beat you. I mean, every childhood memory you have is gonna come back when I'm in there with you. Every single one, the one where you lie in bed at night where your dad comes in and he beats the shit out of you.
I will take your fucking soul, you understand me, you fucking pussy? Yeah, you fucking laugh, you fucking
Yeah, oh, I got a nerve. I see I hit a nerve there.
Yeah, you fucking did hit a nerve, you fucking bitch. Go ice your fucking ankle, you fucking coward.
Oh, man, that's it.
All right.
Sean's entire brand that he's crafted in the UFC is built around him dishing out insults to all of his opponents, but the moment that DDP brought up Sean's childhood abuse, Strickland genuinely had a meltdown and then messaged Dricus the same night telling him that he's not allowed to talk about that stuff anymore. And look, I agree that Sean's history of childhood abuse is really sad, and I actually do agree with him that stuff like that probably should be off limits when it comes to promoting a fight. But at the same time, Strickland trash talks all of his opponents from any angle that he can, so it just seems a bit pathetic to me that he's allowed to dish it out all he wants, but doesn't have the ability to take it back. Also, he's been very open about his history of abuse in multiple podcasts, to the point where he even cried on camera about it, so I don't really blame DDP for thinking that it was fair game to use against him. Look, MMA has always had its fair share of loudmouths and clout chasers, but even they have a level of self-awareness that Sean Strickland utterly lacks. Sean's phoniness isn't just glaring, it is the fundamental core of his entire persona. He's everything that he claims to despise wrapped up in a single contradictory package. To be clear, none of this is personal. Strickland is a very entertaining guy. His presence makes MMA undeniably more interesting, but let's not kid ourselves. The guy is an undeniable, unapologetic walking contradiction. He's built an influencer level following on the back of critiquing influencers, and he's a ruthless trash talker who can't take a punchline thrown back his way. And the worst part is, he'll probably never acknowledge any of this because self-awareness isn't exactly his strong suit. Anyways, that's the video for today. Definitely let me know what you think about Strickland. Am I being too harsh, or is Strickland the biggest hypocrite in MMA history? As always, if you like the video, then like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Good shit in the world.
I don't fucking hate you, I just know it. Bro, what? Just because you fight doesn't make you a fucking man, bro. Like, just because you fight doesn't make you a man.
I wasn't planning on fighting. I was planning on training. Bro,
I have no shot at you.
I could take that little guy right there, bro, and I speak to him like that. He's probably gonna hit me and get fucked up.
Okay, exactly. Like, that's my point, bro. I got fucked up.
Like I said, you're trying to have a debate. I'm feeling like, like philosophical debate with Chimp. You can talk all you want, just throwing shit at eagles with a fucking swing on you. It's fine.
Don't you fucking encourage this fucking guy, Kurt. Calm down, little white baby, bro. I know you stand like a white man, you like the white women, bro, but like, let's be a little harder, dog.